So, do you know who Andrew Santino is? You might know his face. You may have seen him. You might know his name. I didn't really know his name. I knew his face. He does a podcast with what's his face? God, Tommy Lee. No, Tommy Lee. Not Tommy Lee. What the hell am I talking about? What is his name? The guy from Mad TV, Chinese guy from Mad TV. I think he's Chinese. Bobby Lee. Yeah, I was close. Yeah, he does a podcast with Bobby Lee. That's funny if you've watched it. It's one of these funny things where you get the clips from it, and all the clips are funny. I don't know. I haven't fully watched the whole podcast to know how funny it is, but Bobby Lee's funny. Santino he's got good comebacks and he's got good quips, so he's funny. But I think he needs that. I think he needs that, the second guy. But he's getting kind of popular now, and he's in a new movie called Ricky Stanicky. I think it's on Apple TV. I just watched it. Literally just watched it. It's funny. I mean, it's like one of those like bro comedy type things. But the funny thing about it is Andrew Santino not really all that funny in it. He's kind of just like he's one of the ensemble of the cast, and he doesn't steal any show whatsoever. And then so I went down the rabbit hole a little bit more, and I watched his I think it's his most recent comedy special called Cheeseburger, and less than impressed there as well. I'm going to read this article. This is Men's Health, just talking about the movie Ricky Stanicky and a little bit about Andrew Santino, but here goes. So in the zany new comedy Ricky Stanicky, three lifelong friends think they've perfected the art of getting away with lying to their wives whenever they want an impromptu boys' weekend. They simply claim that their old pal Ricky Stanicky, who doesn't actually exist, needs their help. When the ruse finally starts to wear thin, they decide to hire a down on his luck rock tribute act to portray their fake friend. Not exactly rock tribute act. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I mean. But he goes method, throwing their lives into utter chaos. Ricky Stanicky stars a game as ever John Cena as the unhinged central role. The trio of friends consists of confident leader Dean, played by Zac Efron, stoner Wes, played by comedian Jermaine Fowler, and highly strung new dad JT, played by Andrew Santino. Santino is an actor and comedian known for his work in stand-up as well as his performances on the TV series I'm Dying Up Here, which followed a group of struggling stand-up comics in the 70s and hit drama This Is Us. I haven't watched either of those, so I don't know. Santino is the producer and host of the podcast Whiskey Ginger, in which he and guests from the entertainment industry drink whiskey while chatting. That sounds like drunk history almost. And for the last 3 years, he has hosted the Bad Friends podcast alongside fellow comedian Bobby Lee. That's the one that I caught and like. If you're not familiar with his podcast, then there's still a chance you'll recognize him from some of his more recent TV appearances. He was in the main cast of the FXX series. Dave, is that FX? Whatever. Playing the titular character's roommate and manager. He also had a recurring role in Netflix's Beef. Okay, so anyways, tell you, go ahead and watch that movie, Ricky Stanicky. It is funny enough. Zac Efron's all right in it. He's kind of what he always is, but it's John Cena that kind of steals the show with that movie. He's quite good in it. It's a little cheesy at times, but overall pretty good. But Andrew Santino, I don't know, like he could have been anybody. Put it this way, it could have been anybody else as him. He didn't stand out for me at all. Like I said, I went and watched his comedy special, Cheeseburger. I found that the thing about him is his jokes seem to be constructed all right. He does that classic thing where they repeat themselves, which I think only Chris Rock pulls off. The rest they kind of get irritating when they repeat they're stringing along the next joke with repeat of part of the other joke. But it just comes off a little flat. And I don't know why. I was going in there with a complete, open mind because of the podcast and I wanted to like it. But quite honestly, I don't think I really laughed at any point. I chuckled a few times, maybe one laugh, maybe, but it was mostly lackluster. It kind of has the same feeling, the same bust for me as maybe like a Matt Rife. When you watch Matt Rife's clips, funny all over TikTok and Facebook and wherever, Instagram maybe. But then when you watch his whole comedy special, you go, ooh, don't think he can do an hour. Kind of get that feeling with Andrew Santino as well. We'll have to see if maybe he falls into himself a little better. But right now, maybe just stick to the podcast and lean a little on Bobby Lee, because that's working, and that's probably what's going to keep him funny or keep him relevant, at least for the next little while.